Hello everyone. Today's poem is Tang Wind, the first poem in Tang Wind. Sounds quite familiar, right? Yeah, the Tang Wind has some connections with the famous later Tang poetry. The Tang poetry is the poetry written in the Tang dynasty. And their founder, the first emperor of the Tang dynasty, he came out from this area. So this area shown in the map was called the Tang state in the Zhou dynasty in the time of Book of Songs. So this is the connection. So never mismatch or never mistaken the Tang Wind with the Tang poetry. Tang poetry was the poetry written in the Tang dynasty some 1,300 years before today. And the Tang Wind is the poetry written some 3,000 years before in the state of Tang. Normally, this poem is believed, which reflected the local flavor, the local custom of the Tang state, which is stingy, which is they have a deep thought. So it's a little bit positive and a little bit negative. So that's the normal impression or the normal interpretation to this poem as a general. But this resolution or this interpretation to this poem is quite different from a history figure in the 左传. Basically, all the reviews by the Prince Jizha is positive. There's nothing associated with stingy, mean about the Tang Wind. So today I will have a totally new interpretation, and I do believe maybe this is the very original meaning or what the poet wants to express in this poem. Okay, let's get to the poem. 蟋蟀在堂，岁聿其莫. The insect of crickets, they come into the hall, and the time is about the year end. One of the key points to understand this poem is the cricket. So if we use the right part of the two characters, 蟋蟀, the cricket, which means we all gathered together here. And the hall in the Zhou dynasty, normally in 99%, it will refer to the hall of the ancestor temple. So if we use that phonetic loan or whatever the right part of the character, the first sentence is quite simple. We all gathered together at the ancestor temple in the hall, and it's at the year end. So even today, the Chinese New Year, okay, you get some feeling, right? The most important day in a year, the most grand ceremony, sacrifice in a year. So the first sentence gave you a very direct indication, something big will happen, right? Okay, let's go to the second. 今我不乐，日月其除。Anyhow, I don't play any music. Or it can also explain as I'm not happy with it. So basically, in the ancient time, the character 乐 or 乐 could be either way. When you play music, normally it's the happy hours, right? And if we are happy hours, the music was played alongside. So the second pair of sentence is quite strange. I'm not happy when the year changes. 日月其除. Basically, it means the sun and the moon was change over. But finally, it became an idiom. 除岁 or 除月. Normally, 除岁, it means the old year will pass and the new year is coming. So normally it's the New Year's Eve or the New Year's Day. Normally it refers to few days in a year. 无已大康，职思其居. So there's nothing left to do. I have done my duty. And we are quite abundant. We are in a prosperous time. But still, I'm holding on to my duty, or I'm thinking about my duty in the ancestor temple. 居 means the ancestor temple. Okay, the last pair of sentences. 好乐无荒，良士瞿瞿. I do like the music. I do like to enjoy the happy hours, but I won't make it too loose. I will follow the code of conduct strictly. Maybe that's the reason you don't play the music, right? Let's continue. And all our best men, all our best officers, their big, sharp eyes shining. 瞿瞿 is referring their eyes, big, wide, open, and it's a status that they hold on to their duty. They are thinking about their duty diligently and with great carefulness, right? So we have gone through the first paragraph. It's quite strange, and it's something underneath, right? So let's review the first paragraph again. It's the year end, the new year is coming, and the poet is not happy. He was with a bunch of guys, the officers, his best citizens in the ancestor temple. So who was this poet? The state lord, most probably, right? Because 蟋蟀 means I was leading a bunch of people in this hall, the state lord. So normally, they should have a grand ceremony. They play the music endlessly, eating, sacrifice, pray in this New Year's Eve, in the coming New Year's Day, right? But the state lord said, today I won't have any music, and that's because I just stick to the code of conduct. Why? I think about it very hard, and finally I found the only possibility. Somebody, the VIP, just passed away. So it's the time of the state funerals. So normally, the last state lord just passed away, and the whole state will be in the funeral period in months, normally in 5 months. So during this 5 months is defined as the funeral period, and no music should be played, even in the New Year's Day. So with this, how to say it? With this assumption, this poem will be explained very in a good sense, reasonably, and there's no argument at all. So a second thought, in the funeral period, the poet, the coming state lord, at this time stage, he's not a formal state lord by his name, but he will take all the responsibilities. Normally, he was called as 小童 during the funeral period until next year. So, and here we can see that he should be very, very sad, but he hold on, he stick to his duty very diligently. So there's a lot of things beneath, right? We can see that, and all the people, they are very glad to have their new state lord, not the formal state lord, but very soon he will become the new state lord, and they all gathered together around the poet, the new state lord. So it shows a very, very harmonic, very prosperous state. And another sentence could be explained or could be reasoned very well. 无已大康. There is nothing left. I have completed all my duties, right? Because the old state lord has passed away for weeks, for several months before the Chinese New Year, right? So actually, the poet, the coming new state lord, has assumed the position for quite a while, right? And during this period, several weeks, months, he has done his job quite well, and the state is 大康, is prosperous, is abundant, with all kinds of food, assets, and people are happy. So with this explanation, the review of Prince Jizha could be justified, and there's nothing mean and stingy reflected in this poem. And the second and third paragraph basically is repeating, and with a little change. Okay, the second paragraph. 蟋蟀在堂，岁聿其逝. So we all gathered together at the hall in the ancestor temple, and the year is just passing by. So it's maybe the second paragraph is referring the New Year's Eve, right? It's just passing away, and the new year will coming right away, right? 今我不乐，日月其迈. So I don't play the music today. well, the year will be passing very soon. 无已大康，职思其外. So here is a little change. So I have done all my duties and the state is abundant and prosperous. And I'm thinking all my duties outside. So what does outside mean? So here reflected that he has some outside duties related to the king of Zhou. So that's a great honor and a responsibility for a state lord. So only a few state lord, they hold their responsibility direct to the king of Zhou. So the Tang state is among the few states across the whole country. And the new state lord has done his outside job well. So he's a very capable man, right? Okay, next sentence. 好乐无荒，良士瞿瞿. So, though I'm very fond of the music, but I still should stick to the code of conduct. So that's why I don't play the music today, right? And all my fellows around me, they are so diligent. 决绝 reflect the status, their body, their move are diligent and swift. So the people with him is not only the new state lord is very capable and diligent, all the people around him are good guy and they are capable. So it's a very, very nice state in a very, very nice time. So one more point is the fourth pair of sentence, 好乐无荒. So I like the music. So in the Book of Songs, the music in most cases is equivalent to the code of conduct. So I like the music means I stick to the code of conduct, and I like to enjoy in the happy hours. So it has normally at least has two meanings. I stick to the code of conduct, and I like to enjoy in the happy hours. Okay, the third pair of sentence. 蟋蟀在堂，役车其休. So it's a little bit continue to the second paragraph. 役车, the chariot, to fulfill the duty from the king of Zhou, right? Because within a state, there is no responsibility associated with the chariot. So this sentence basically revealed that the new state lord has some responsibility from the king of Zhou, and he used the chariot to go back and forth in the vast Zhou country as an ambassador or as a general whatsoever. So that's the chariot mean. And at the year end, the state lord and his people, as well as the chariot, will all have a rest, right? That's the festival means, right? 今我不乐，日月其慆. So today I don't play the music because the old state lord, his father, just passed away. It's in the funeral period, and but still the year will be passing. The new year is coming. Okay, third pair of sentence. 无已大康，职思其忧. I have completed all my duties, and the state is abundant, is prosperous. But still, I'm sticking to my duty and thinking about something bad, something bad thing might happen. I'm thinking about that. So this is a very typical Chinese way of thinking. So there's a old saying that as far as you are at your happiest time, you should think about those bad times. So the third pair sentence actually reflect this very typical Chinese thinking. The last sentence, 好乐无荒，良士瞶瞶. I like the music. I stick to the code of conduct. That's why I don't play the music today, right? It's the funeral period. And all the people in the ancestral hall, they are blessed. Of course, the state lord, both the passed away state lord, the new state lord, were blessed. So the character Xiu has two meanings. One is to have a rest. So the modern Chinese has this meaning as well, right? 休息, take a rest. And another meaning is 良士休休, which means a fortune from the heaven, from the Lord, a bless from the heaven, from the Lord. So the last sentence is quite clear. It's the New Year's Day. It's the grand festival in a year, and all the people are blessed. And this is basically the main purpose for a festival, for a new year, right? You're enjoying the happy hour, but more importantly, we all got blessed. Okay, that's for today, and I wish you all enjoy a good time and be blessed. Bye bye.